agent, you know it's no walk in the park. Car repairs, medical bills, and lost time from work all add up. And if the insurance company isn't paying their fair share, you have to cover the rest, even if it wasn't your fault. That's why you need an advocate. Call us today, and we'll do everything we can to get you moving again. Come on.
You deserve clear, risk-free advice to help get you back on your feet. You deserve an advocate.
This is the Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find the Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, happy Thursday, August 22nd, 2024. Jake got me sick. I should probably call the advocates. Yeah. You can chat with an injury attorney live online. Maybe I should do that. I should sue. The Advocates, theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business, where you never pay the advocates a penny unless and until they win your case at theadvocates.com. Well, thanks for that, Jake. You know, it's always good to see you. And
I know you're thrilled
when you bring over your BS COVID and stuff.
Sorry, man.
Have you taken a COVID test yet?
I haven't yet. No, taking one today. Yeah.
You probably should.
Yeah,
now that you've given it to me.
The coronavirus.
I've never had COVID. Haven't had it yet. And then Jake shows up. So that's great news. Right? How you feeling today, buddy?
Better, but not great. Better, but not great.
What does that mean?
That means that yesterday, let's see, Thursday, Tuesday was the worst day. Yesterday was kind of a grind, a little better, but kind of a grind. Today is better, slightly better, but still sound like crap, obviously. So, you know.
Yeah. Well, as long as you look good, right? Which is a stretch. It's the worst. When somebody close to you is not well, it's the worst. It is the worst thing in the world. And now I can feel it setting in. I slept horribly last night. Little cough when I woke up this morning. Little congestion now. You know, it's all Jake's fault, which is fine. Yes, Mike Smith hit the like button. Good morning. Let's get right to work here on the Monty Show. Again, as always, presented by the Advocates at theadvocates.com. Are Florida State still the kings of the ACC? Very interesting kickoff coming in Dublin this weekend. And I think it's a really critical season for the ACC. But really, moreover, I think this is one of the most important seasons in the history of Florida State football. And I say that because of all the litigation, all the noise, all the nonsense going on around Florida State football that, frankly, is ugliness. It's bad for college football. I don't think anybody disputes that. But if Florida State does not have a successful season on the field, it feels like it is even worse. It feels like it ratchets up to another level. And frankly, I don't see any way that Florida State does not win the ACC. I think you're going to have some real contenders coming out of the conference. I think very certainly Miami is a program that you've got to keep your eye on. There is no doubt about the fact that Virginia Tech is experienced and is going to be a very tough out this year. But Florida State should be at least a game better than everybody else. They're probably a one-loss team this year at 11-1. I would be stunned if this team doesn't win the ACC. But again, I think it's about a lot more than just winning a conference for Florida State. After all of the drama of last year, to miss the college football playoffs this year would just be unthinkable. It would be the worst eventual outcome. But Jake, is there any way in your mind that happens?
No, I don't think so. I think that Florida State should be well into the playoff this year. I think Florida State is you know, I just don't know how you pick anyone else to be better than them in that conference right now. And it's unfortunate because Dabo and Clemson really should be better, but obviously he hasn't kind of made that switch and that turn and leaned into NIL in the portal. So he's, you know, I think they're paying the price for that right now. But yeah, I mean, I think everyone's really high on Miami this year. So I feel like, people want to put them in a double-digit win season this year. And I feel like we're kind of putting them on this pedestal only to have them disappoint us with an 8-win season instead of an 11-win season or 12-win season. So, yeah, I think Florida State is definitely the king of the ACC, if you will. They're definitely the best team in the conference. But I do think this thing with injury and how deep are these teams? Because, when we've talked about the other conferences this week, what have we talked about? Hey, Georgia and Bama and Ohio State and Oregon and all these other teams in Utah, and they all have depth at key skill positions. And so, Florida State is gonna compete in the college football playoff this year. They need to stay healthy. They need to be smart about, getting their quarterback out of games when they're ahead. They need to make sure that they take care of their personnel, because ultimately it doesn't matter 9 times out of 10 how much you win by if you're going to win your conference. Because again, conference champions have that auto bid into the college football playoff. So if you're in a position to win the ACC, there's really no reason why you should be trying to win games by 60 points.
Yeah, I think this is all about Florida State's redemption tour. I honestly think that's the whole 9 yards. I look at their schedule. Their schedule's not overwhelmingly difficult. I look at, obviously, I'm not a believer in Clemson. I don't think Dabo has the goods. I look at Virginia Tech with all that experience coming back. And I look at what Mario Cristobal has on the line this year. I mean, this is an absolute make or break season. Historically speaking, if Miami Hurricane football tanks this year, this could be the end of football at Miami. And I'm not even being dramatic or joking. You look at the climate in SoFlo, and you're starting to understand that there's not a whole lot of money just floating around. And if Miami Hurricane football is irrelevant, I don't think it can survive in its current form. I think this is an incredibly important season for Miami Hurricane football. And I just think Florida State's better. Having looked at them and you look at their schedule doesn't seem daunting to me. Georgia Tech is going to be an interesting look early in the season. Obviously that game is Saturday in Dublin. I think it'll be very interesting. It's a 10 a.m. game, noon Eastern. It'll be really interesting to see how those teams come out. But, I mean, is there anybody who believes that Georgia Tech can win that game?
No.
I wouldn't think so. And then it's Boston College, Memphis, Cal, at SMU. SMU's a very interesting player in this conference. They're talented, but they're probably the most ready team of the newbies in the ACC, I would think. But is there anybody who believes that Preston Stone is as beautiful as Oak State James says his phallic symbol is? Is there anybody who believes that Preston Stone can carry that team to the top of the conference? I do not. I don't. And I think that's one of their more interesting games. Clemson, but that game's in Tallahassee.
Should be a win.
Duke at Miami is potentially their only loss of the season, in my opinion. I don't think they're losing to Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame, as I've said, is a hype machine this year. I think if Florida State loses more than a game, I would be surprised.
Yeah, and you should be surprised if they lose more than a game. And that's where I think the events of last season, kind of play into the redemption tour this year. I think you're spot on with that. I think Florida State wants their revenge. They want to get into the college football playoff and they want it decided on the football field. And I'm still a firm believer that they have nothing on big time SEC teams. They don't deserve to be on the same field as Ohio State or, the top tier teams in the country. But again, if you are a conference champion and you get that matchup, you're going to have your day, right? I mean, that's how the system works. So like I said, I think it all hinges on them winning the conference. If you somehow mess it up and you're a 2-loss team instead of a 1-loss team, that's where I think things get murky, because 2-loss non-conference champion team Florida State, now you're right back where you were last year, where you're having to compete to get into the college football playoff with those 7 other at-large, bids. So that I think is very murky water, but I would agree. I'd be very surprised if Florida State was not a one-loss team.
It would be a shocking disappointment.
Yeah.
For Florida State to lose multiple games. And I understand they have that Miami, Notre Dame, portion of their schedule, but come on. I mean, you look at the talent on this team and you look at the way they've dominated the ACC. Can that continue? Probably not. They're not going undefeated in the conference this year. But their offensive line, should be really, really good. You look at their defense, obviously rushing the passer with Jared Verse, that's going to be a huge loss. And you're going to have to figure out how to replace his production and impact on the field, because Jared Verse was a disruptor, and we talked about him on the show regularly. And I look at their level of talent and look at where their schedule lies. North Carolina is not going to be good, is the wrong word. North Carolina is not going to be one of the elites in the ACC this year.
Competitive at the top of the table.
They're going to backslide.
Yeah.
Which you understand. Again, you put a guy at the top of the draft, you're gonna backslide. But I think I can't imagine Florida State going to Dallas and losing.
Yeah, I mean, there's just no reason for them to lose multiple games. I mean, there's literally nobody in the conference who should be able to put up a legitimate fight. Now, are they going to be in some close games? Sure. But again, when Soccer Writer in Minnesota, is reviewing their resume at the end of the year, all they're going to be looking at is wins and losses. So to me, again, Florida State has the opportunity to put all this to bed by simply winning the conference. Win the conference, and you don't have to talk about the college football playoff. You're in. That's all you got to do. And as far as Miami is concerned, if I'm Miami, my sole mission is to try to go out and win this conference. Now, obviously, nobody expects them to win the ACC, but if you could somehow find a way to knock off Florida State and make it a conversation in, I don't know, October, like late October, if it could still be a conversation of who's going to win the ACC, I think that is exactly what Miami wants.
But again, DJ Uiagalelei is going to have to play with a chip on his shoulder. And I think when you're replacing somebody like Jordan Travis and you look at what DJ's done, I mean, was there a better recruit for Dabo at the time than DJ Uiagalelei? Is there a recruit that's gone worse than that in recent memory? Not really. Not for a quarterback who then goes on and was pretty goddamn solid at Oregon State, right? And now is at Florida State. I think that DJ has something to prove. And I think I would hope that he's got October 5th schedule that circled on his schedule.
Well, he's one of those guys where this season's kind of his make or break type season where, if you have any ambitions of playing in the league, you have to ball out this year. You have to prove that, hey, like you're not just an average, fourth rounder.
Well, I'm also curious what Malik Benson turns into. I mean, he was a 0 at Alabama. Obviously when you lose, you look at the production they lost at wide receiver at Florida State. Dude, it's tough when you're losing Keon Coleman, and that's a lot of production to replace, but they're loaded at wide receiver. And if Malik Benson comes in and does what he was supposedly capable of doing, forget it. They're going to be, again, I think they're 30 points a game. I think you fall out of bed in the ACC as an elite team and you probably score 30.
Well, and I think that's the thing about kids who come out of Alabama and Georgia specifically, and even when you come out of that program and you transfer to Florida State, let's say, or another program that maybe is a slight step down, but you have a lot more opportunity, like the stuff that he would have learned at Alabama, the experience he has is going to help him at Florida State. And I think that's where I say, hey, like, it's not that Florida State's terrible. Yeah. I just don't think we know how good they can be. Can DJ be better than Jordan Travis was? Obviously, before the injury, is the top end higher? Like who? I doubt it. But who is the person that's going to fill the Keon Coleman role? Because what we're finding out, is that Keon Coleman obviously had established himself as their big playmaker guy last year, but he's proving that he is that guy now in the league with the Bills, obviously. So that is a huge loss.
Jakeem Douglas, with 17 yards a catch?
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to be good. And you look at Hakeem Williams, who's really fast. I think their schedule sets up. I would also point out Florida State does not play Louisville this year, which I think I think Louisville's probably in that second cut of teams in the ACC. Not having them on their schedule, I think, is probably good. Their road games. What stands out to me is that Miami, Notre Dame, North Carolina stretch. It's at Miami, North Carolina, at Notre Dame. That's probably going to determine their season.
Now, a lot of people are disagreeing with you about Notre Dame. They're saying that, hey, Notre Dame is a college football playoff team, and they're really good.
Riley Leonard's got to stay healthy.
Agreed.
We can sit here and we can go all around the merry-go-round, and we can pretend that, it's Notre Dame. Well, they put a shamrock on their helmet and everybody falls down and begs them to score touchdowns, because that's not the truth anymore.
So my point is, and I agree with you, he needs to stay healthy. But my point is, when you're looking at their schedule, if Notre Dame and Riley Leonard somehow stay healthy and are a good team, now you've got Notre Dame, you've got Miami, and then is there a third game in there where they just don't show up, where they have that off week? That's what I'm saying. That if you're a Florida State fan, that's where you have to say, hey, like, we have to avoid that game. Because I remember last fall, we were sitting up in Park City at a bar. We're watching Florida State and Clemson before Jordan Travis suffers the major injury, obviously. And Florida State's supposed to be this college football playoff powerhouse squad, and they're struggling to beat Clemson. Like, they only put Clemson away with about 7 minutes left in the fourth. Like, it was tight. It was a field goal game until the fourth quarter. So that's what I'm saying, where I would like to see Florida State be a little more commanding this year. Be a little more like, hey, if Florida State's going to be that team that wants to go on the redemption tour and wants to, say, hey, we told you so, we are that team, you need to manhandle squads like Clemson. You need to manhandle, UNC, Duke, like your main competition in the ACC. If you are that team, you'll dominate those guys.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to understand why. Isn't Notre Dame overhyped every year? And I'm a Notre Dame fan. I am a passionate Notre Dame fan. Grew up in Chicago. I think anybody that watches this show knows that. But I look at this team. They're built on defense, and in college football, you can't win like that, in my opinion. You can not in today's world, where you look at Georgia. Georgia had the best defense in the country last year, which is why they won the national champ. Oh wait, that's right, they didn't.
No.
Michigan. How did Michigan win games? Michigan won games with the offensive and the defensive line.
Yeah.
I look at Texas. Texas won games with that offense. I look at, you
Ohio State.
Ultimately, Ohio State didn't win games because they didn't have the goods on offense.
Yeah.
I understand Notre Dame has what is a really good defense. I'm with you on that. But Riley Leonard, in no way, shape, or form, in my opinion, is an elite quarterback or has shown the ability to stay healthy. And I look at Florida State, DJ Uiagalelei versus Riley Leonard. It's not even an argument. What we saw from DJ last year was elite quarterback play. And if he brings that to Tallahassee, dude, I think their schedule sets up for Florida State to be very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
And Florida State's that team that always finds themselves, I think what you were pointing out, in close games that shouldn't be close games.
Yeah. You let people hang around.
And eventually that comes back to get you.
Because what ends up happening, and I love DJ Uiagalelei, but what ends up happening? A guy like him's going to throw an untimely pick. There's going to be a mistake there, or something's going to happen that wasn't in your plan, and that's going to cause you to lose a game you probably shouldn't lose. And that's why I'm saying, like, I think that's the next evolution of Florida State this year, is like, hey, if you want to prove people and stick it to people, then stick it to people. Like, hey, we're going to drop a 30 piece in the first half against most of these teams on our schedule. And if we don't drop 30, we're dropping 27, and then we're dropping another 20 in the second half.
Yeah, I think it is. It's just this league in the ACC, I think I just don't see the elite depth. And I think I think it's Florida State. I think Florida State's better than everybody else. But if you go back and you look at the rest of this league, there's a group in the middle, the Clemsons, Louisville's in that group. I think, how good is Virginia Tech? Doesn't Virginia Tech have the most returning upperclassmen of any team in the country, I believe the stat was. Their schedule, when you're playing, when you are playing quite literally the only elite team on Virginia Tech's schedule, and this is why I think they may find themselves near the top. At Vanderbilt, Marshall, which is on the C-Dub, by the way, so everybody will see it. Old Dominion, Rutgers, Miami, in Miami.
Huge game.
At Stanford, well, the travel, that's a cross-country trip, to immediately turn around and go into Boston College, Georgia Tech, at Syracuse, Clemson, at Duke, Virginia. That's not a difficult schedule.
No, that's a one-loss schedule.
And I think that one loss is probably Miami on September 27th, which if you're going to lose in September. Do not lose in October or November.
You can't. I understand the travel piece. You can't lose to Stanford if you're anybody. If you're any kind of football team, you can't lose to Stanford.
Yeah. And again, I think Louisville's good, not great, but Louisville's schedule, obviously, as I said, does not include Florida State. Their road games are at Notre Dame on September 28th. And Notre Dame, I think, does not play a single road game this year.
Notre Dame, our mother.
At Notre Dame, at Virginia, at Boston College, at Clemson, at Stanford, at Kentucky. They may lose one road game this year. It's probably Clemson. Their home game of the year is Miami on October 19th. Because I don't, and I know this is probably going to freak people out because Pitt fans seem to be very ravenous. I don't have much hope for Pitt this year. I don't have much hope for Virginia. Wake Forest is going to be a bottom of the conference team.
Certainly.
But I think there is going to be, like Cal. I think Cal's going to be one of those teams in that bunch in the middle. I think there's maybe 2, possibly 3 really good teams in this league if Virginia Tech wins those games.
I think it's Florida is the top cut.
Florida
number
State.
1. Or Florida State, I'm sorry. Florida State is head and shoulders the best team in the conference. I think Miami and Vatech are right next to each other.
I think Miami could be okay. Let's play Miami real quick.
Yeah.
Is Miami a 1-loss team? Their schedule seemingly says they're a 3-loss team. At Florida a week from now,
they'll win that game.
Florida A&M, yeah, it's a national TV game. I think that's a toss-up. Florida A&M, Ball State, at South Florida. Virginia Tech, at Cal, at Louisville. Florida State, Duke, at Georgia Tech, Wake, at Syracuse. I think that's a 2-loss schedule because I think that you are going to have your hands full at Louisville on October 19th. Florida State, that's a make-or-break game for both of them. It's the week of Halloween. That could be a loss. That would be 2.
Well, look how much heat that game would have, though. If let's say that Miami, was undefeated headed into that game, I mean, that game would have incredible heat.
It could be. I don't know. My point is, I think this conference is deeper this year. Is it, is Florida State still the best team? I think they are. I think they are.
Well, I think that they certainly are, and I think they will be until someone unseats them. And I think that Mario Cristobal has always been a head coach that has, sort of led his teams to be gritty, physical teams. That's what I've known. That's what I knew his Oregon teams for. And I think that I would expect Miami with their talent to be gritty, to be physical, and to kind of be that, to kind of live up to that brand in a sense. I mean, that's what the great Miami teams were always like that back in the day, where you were looking to hurt somebody. And I'm not saying they're looking to injure players, but they're looking to send a message. And I think that is how you beat Mike Norvell, Florida State. You hit them, you get physical with them, and you send that message. So again, if Miami somehow doesn't lose to Virginia Tech and Louisville before they play Florida State, that has maybe second cut game of the year vibes. That could be a big game.
All right, go ahead and hit the like button, please, as we get to the comments section, as always, presented by our good friends at Prize Picks, prizepicks.com. Download the app. It is by far the easiest way to get Prize Picks on your phone. On a hot streak, another winner last night. I'm telling you, if you're playing Prize Picks baseball, Aaron Judge is where it's at, and Seiya Suzuki of the Chicago Cubs, pretty good. Pretty good. Won again with Seiya, even though, don't get me started on the Cubs. It's depressing. It is truly depressing. But Seiya last night gives me the 2 for 4, which was all I needed. And then the White Sox won a game, which I thought was very interesting because, they don't often do that. Once out of every 20-something games.
First team, all 60 games under 500.
And I was all in on Logan Webb yesterday. I had him at 4.5 strikeouts more. He gave me 6.
Nice. Love it.
8 innings, 6 Ks. It's a winning formula.
8 innings. That's a nice outing.
So what I would tell you is Prize Picks is very easy to play. It's not complicated. It's the best daily fantasy app, in my opinion. It's why tens of millions of people use Prize Picks every single day, because Logan Webb, 4.5 strikeouts, more or less. That's the question you answer on every one of your selections. Last night it was Aaron Judge. And I was choosing between 0.5 home runs more or less, or total bases. I took total bases because I think his total bases were 2.5. So I took total bases. Seiya Suzuki's total bases were 1.5. I took more. I went 3 for 3. Here's the formula on Prize Picks. 3 selections. Today I'm going to do 2 plays. PGA, the PGA playoffs are here. So I'm going to do a golf one. And I'm going to probably do another Major League Baseball one.
How about just one quick note on the FedEx Cup? How about the fact that they're playing this thing at 6,200 feet, if I'm correct?
You can also play Prize Picks at 6,200 feet. You don't need to get to sea level to play Prize Picks. Download the app. Use the promo code Monty. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your great take about altitude and the golf ball to, finish up the business of the show or anything. Why don't you go ahead?
No, go ahead, dude. Go ahead.
Let me single you up there.
No, you don't want to do that.
Stay hard.
I'm good, dude.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm good.
Download the Prize Picks app. Use the promo code Monty, MONTY Monty. You deposit $5. Prize Picks will give you 50 more. It's the single best daily fantasy promotion I've ever seen. And I've been doing daily fantasy for over 10 years. What is this, 2024? 11 years I've been doing, 2013. And this is the best promotion I've ever seen. You make a $5 deposit into a new account at Prize Picks, they'll give you 50 more. Download the app. All you have to do is use the promo code Monty on YouTube. If you're watching on the old X machine, if you are watching on Facebook, make sure you get over to YouTube, find the Monty Show, give us a subscribe. In the description of this YouTube show, there's a link. Click that link or download the app and use the promo code Monty. Deposit $5 in a new account. They'll give you 50 more. Prize Picks, America's favorite daily fantasy game.
Yeah.
Go ahead. 6,200 feet.
Yeah.
Did anybody see Rory McIlroy yesterday pull out a 50-degree wedge and hit it 156 yards? I think he hit it.
Yeah, 374 off the tee.
150. Who cares about the driver? 100 with a 50 degree. He's hitting it 150 yards with a 50 degree. I hit my pitching wedge 150 yards. A 50 degree, which I think my max at a 50 degree is like 120 on my best swing, and he's hitting it 150 plus.
Yep.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's not.
If you're not a golf fan, but you're looking to get into it, this would be a good week to watch.
It is wild to me what altitude does to a golf ball.
Yeah.
It is absolutely wild to me. All right, let's get into the comments section. Lobes fan Gabe says hit the like button. Yes, why don't you guys go ahead and hit the like button to get the party started. Well, Dade Messina. Does that mean you're from Dade County? Dade County, Florida. Wade County. Okay. Dade Messina, the newest member of the Monty Show. Appreciate you very much, Dade. Good to see you this morning. He says, you guys make ordering my trucks at work a lot easier. Ooh, what do you do for a living? So I wanted to be a member of the family. Well, thank you for supporting the show.
Appreciate you, bro.
We always appreciate that. Oh, James, do we have a Mike Gundy story for you today? Miami, Clemson, and Carolina might have something to say about. Down in North Carolina still has a few years left. The talent drop is pretty significant this year for Mac. He's going to have, I don't know, I think 4 losses is probably strong for a Mac Brown team. But I think he's in that group with SMU, NC State. He's got Florida State's on their schedule, obviously, as we talked about. But, I mean, there's Charlotte, they're North Carolina Central, James Madison, Duke, Pitt, Virginia, Wake, and Boston College. Those are all wins. I think he's probably beating Minnesota. I think Georgia Tech, Florida State, and NC State will be his 3 losses. And potentially 4. But he's in that group with Florida State. He's in that group with, they're better than Boston College. They're probably on par with SMU. NC State's probably a 2 or 3 loss team, depending on how you look at it. They've got Tennessee as a non-con. They're probably going to lose that game. Louisville, in my opinion, Louisville is a 2-loss team because I think Louisville will beat Kentucky. I think their losses are Clemson and Notre Dame. And it's going to be very interesting to see. UW fan Jim, Florida State will be second in the ACC and ranked 13th in the country. Jesus, could you imagine that? They don't win the conference championship, and they don't finish in the top 12. That would be...
Queue up a fresh lawsuit.
Yeah. And you're right, Mike Smith, their defense is missing. I mean, I think Jared Verse is one of the biggest impact losses in the country. As far as attrition goes, yeah. It's just going to be tough. Hello, Willie Wilson. Good to see you. Anthony Eason, no mention of Louisville. We talked about Louisville.
Yeah, we talked about Louisville.
Who smoked Virginia Tech 34-3 last year.
Tech's going to be a lot better this year, bro.
I would agree.
Yeah,
I would agree. But yeah, I think Louisville is good, not great.
I mean, Louisville was a sweetheart story last year, no doubt. I mean,
but
Louisville,
they're in that. It's a very interesting build in the ACC. Couple are really good, bunch of pretty good, couple are really bad. It'll be interesting. Andy Blackwell, hello. Credit where it's due. J2H showing some real cojones, pushing through with the man flu.
Yeah, it's been a grind, bro.
I don't think it's a badge of honor when you're sick that you show up at the studio and pass it around like it's free beer. I don't know that I would be like,
Okay, well, So should we just not do the show then, or?
Don't get me started. Welcome to the nightmare. When you transfer more than once, I feel like you definitely have to make your last stop a prove it season. Well, DJ Uyunglele is that guy. I assume that's who you're referencing. I think he will, and I think he will. I think he has really grown, in my opinion. So we'll see. Yes, Lopes fan Gabe, like button. Welcome to the nightmare. If Florida State loses more than one game and doesn't make it to the college football playoff, definitely a failure of a season. Overall, man. I just think it's because of the hype and It's what I always say, man. Isn't this where Florida State has put themselves? When you go to court and you're suing people and no bombshell out of the ESPN ACC contract that they were promising. I wouldn't expect much out of mediation. This is where you put yourself when the state attorney general gets involved, when the governor gets involved.
Yep. Nowhere to go.
It's college football, man. We don't need the governor. We don't need the attorney general. We don't need lawyers. We need wins on the field. And this year, that's never been more accurate. You've got to win on the field this year, because last year, I just don't think that there was much of an argument to put Florida State in. Without your best player and your quarterback, you weren't one of the best teams, in my opinion. So we'll see. I mean, there's pressure on a lot of guys, right? I mean, Norvell's got pressure at Florida State. I think, again, Ryan Day probably has the most pressure in the country. I think there's a lot of pressure on the boys at Oregon, your favorite head coach in college football. But
yeah, Kalen DeBoer has some pressure
at Alabama. I think there's pressure at Alabama. There's always pressure at Alabama, though.
I think Lincoln Riley's got some pressure on him.
Huge. But again, I asked, does Marcus Freeman have pressure? Probably not. I think it is. I think
Joey.
I don't know. I want Joey. I want Joey to have pressure. Texas Tech. This is the Mike Gundy story. Did anybody see what Finebaum said about Mike Gundy? We talked about it on the show the other day. Did you guys see Mike Gundy off the rails talking about agents, players, and NIL?
That's what I told the players. There's no negotiating now. Portal's over. All negotiations history. Now we're playing football.
You can enjoy
just coaching and playing football.
Conference and a 12-team playoff and everything being so different, just the newness of it all.
Yeah, and the business side of what we do now is we have to have those conversations with them. Tell your agent to quit calling us and asking for more money. It's non-negotiable now. Going to start again in December. So now we're able to direct ourselves just at football, and that part is fun because there's been so much other stuff going on. It's been hard to really focus on football.
I just don't understand that. And I know I said this the other day. I think it's one of the stupidest things he's ever said. It's not only up there with DUIs and stuff.
Yeah.
But do you understand the message you are sending to guys like Ollie Gordon? Do you understand the message you are sending to players that might be in the portal? Because you can get on me for ripping Mike Gundy, and I do it on a regular basis. I think the guy is one of the biggest frauds as in terms of resumes that we have in college football. The guy doesn't win at the highest level, yet he is lauded as a god. This is why he doesn't win at the highest level. Finebaum made a great point. You're irrelevant without Oklahoma. Well, where have you heard that before? And I'm not a Finebaum fan, to be sure. We just talked about this yesterday.
Right.
But when he agrees with me, I think he's the greatest college football pundit in the world.
That's why we have Finebaum.
But I think he's actually got a point here. Oklahoma was Oklahoma State. Oklahoma leaving the conference, as I've said repeatedly, damages Oklahoma State. Because Oklahoma State's not a draw. You're not excited to watch Oklahoma State football. Stillwater is not a destination. So when you come out and you rip agents and you rip players over NIL, who are you, Dabo Swinney?
Seriously. Well, what's the difference with Dabo?
Dabo doesn't say it out loud most of the time.
Well, and Dabo can say that he's won a national championship.
Why would you say this out loud? And again, I know that you guys are probably tired of hearing me talk about Mike Gundy, but I will just continue to say, I don't understand why Mike Gundy talks so goddamn much.
Yeah, I think he talks so much because there's not repercussion. There's not going to be, nobody's going to say to Mike Gundy, hey, like probably shouldn't be talking about, that you had 4 beers at the bar 1,000 times in your life and you were just luckier than Ollie Gordon, or that, that now at this time of the year, we're just focused on football, that have your agent stop calling us, negotiations start back up in December when the season's over. And maybe that's the most telling portion of what he said, because theoretically the season shouldn't be over in December for you if you're an elite squad, right? Like if you're competing at the highest level of college football, which Oklahoma State has access to, they just don't. You would be competing well into January, obviously. So that's where I say, hey, like, not only is this a bad look from an NIL standpoint and obviously the portal, but it's also kind of telling me, hey, this is how you view your season. Hey, it's August. Obviously we're rolling into September here in the next 10 days or whatever. And, season's over in December. So call me then. That's what I think. You don't always have to be red ass Mike Gundy. Like, sometimes it's okay to say, like, yeah, like he should have said something like, hey, like, you know what? Like, we have these conversations and it's an ongoing process. Like, just give a coach speak answer. There's no reason to be so red ass about it.
Yeah.
But that's who he is. It's who he is. That's and I think it's part of why, to your point, why he's like lauded as this god, this figure.
But this QR code thing on the helmets, does anybody really think that's going to make a difference? Do you know how difficult it is? I guess you could freeze frame it. Do you know how difficult it is to pull a QR code off of a live event? Do you know the conversion rate and how low conversion rate on QR codes that are not stagnant, like so on a sign sitting in a concourse? Those QR codes do well. I think this is a neat little toy. Putting a small QR code on the back of your players' helmets, I don't know. I am probably too biased against Mike Gundy, but this is more nonsense. And if you're the Big 12, what does Oklahoma State represent to you? What is the importance of Oklahoma State football? See, now I think it's absolutely paramount that they win. I think you need them on that wall. You don't want them on the wall. You need them on that wall.
Yes.
Right? Like
yes.
You need Oklahoma State to not be good. You need them to be elite.
Pick up your weapon and stand post.
Yeah, you need them to be elite. Who are you, Tim Walls?
Yeah.
You need them to be elite. And if they're not, Texas Tech, Joey McGuire, we were just talking about it. You need them to be elite.
But what would tell us that they will be elite? That's
nothing.
The thing.
At neither institution should we believe that Oak State or Texas Tech are going to win the conference this year. I don't see it with Oklahoma State. And again, I know Okie Light fan gets all pissed off when I say it. You don't have a quarterback. You don't.
And your very defense of your program is that you're in the conference game every year. You're in the conference championship game every year. You're competing for the conference championship every year. But what's the difference? And this is the Oklahoma angle coming back again, right? You've always been the underdog trying to take down the juggernaut in OU or Texas. That's been your role in the conference. But now that those two are gone, now it's like, hey, it's your turn to step up. There's a void. Who's going to fill it? Well, unfortunately, I don't believe it's going to be Stillwater and Gundy and his mullet.
Stillwater.
I think it's going to be Kyle Whittingham and the Utah Utes. And again, I'll keep saying it. And people questioned me the other day, but I don't think it's great for the Big 12 if Utah just comes in and wins the conference. That's not a great look. Like,
no, it's not.
You need, like you said, it would be nice if Okie Light or Tech or hell, even K-State, Kansas won the conference title. That'd be nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be really interesting to see how it all plays out in Stillwater. Mike Gundy's got to stop talking.
The other thing I would add to that point right there, if you're going to talk, then you need to win. Like, because Finebaum's saying like, hey, like, why would you want to go and play for Mike Gundy? That's the exact point. Like, if you're going to talk this much, like, you got to be a head coach that wins at a really, really high level, because then kids would want to go and play for you. It's the The value's out of proportion. You can't be a red ass with the media and not win national championships or be in the playoff regularly. Because if you're not going to be an NIL portal guy and you're not going to be in the playoff regularly, why would someone want to come and play for you?
Yep. Sean Rollins says Jake gave Monty the suds. Yep. Yeah, it's going to happen. Big Blue Horses. FSU is a colonoscopy without anesthesia. Wow. Overhyped, overindulged crybabies. They could go winless, and that still wouldn't be good enough. Go Gators. Well, there you go. Go Gators.
See, at least you embrace the fact that you're a Gator fan. I can appreciate that.
Sean Rollins says, Paul Lip Balm. Don't disagree. Coco Von Coconut. I want you guys to ease up on Michigan. They never cheat, never lie, never steal. Just ask Jim Harbaugh. I mean,
obviously,
who would
cheating, lying, and then playing the victim?
Who would ever do that?
Doesn't get any more red, white, and blue than that.
I know another coach that does not win at the highest levels that is lauded as a great coach. Oh, do tell, please. San Diego State Glenn, Mike Gundy is like J.D. Vance answering Jake Tapper questions on CNN last night. That was awkward.
Yeah.
Did anybody see Pete Buttigieg last night joking about going on Fox? So again, little old Monty over here. So Pete Buttigieg routinely goes on Fox News and beats ass. Like he is absolutely dominating them. He's like, "Hi, I'm Pete Buttigieg. You might recognize me from Fox News." Which was, okay. Good morning, everyone. I think Miami could take FSU this year. The U got a talent upgrade. Hell yeah, they did. Welcome to the nightmare. Gundy has some liquid courage during that interview.
I just think the guy doesn't care because he doesn't have to care.
I don't think he cares at all.
Like, he doesn't have to care. They're not going to do anything.
That was a DUI joke, by the way, which is funny, not funny, but funny. Mike Smith, Jimbo's sitting back with his millions and probably sends yearly thank you cards to A&M, right? I think those deals are dead. I don't think we'll ever see you'll never see a Jimbo Fisher type buyout. It's too expensive and schools can't afford it anymore.
Yeah, I mean the rev sharing portion of the new model just makes it so you can't buy coaches out the way you used to. And the sad part is when I first saw that conversation come about earlier this week, the program I'm thinking of right off the bat, and that's going to be Baylor with 8 Ball, right? Is Baylor not buying out Dave because they are budgeting for rev sharing? And if that's the case, I understand it. But at some point, you whether it's Baylor or anybody else, at some point you have to be more competitive.
I don't disagree with that at all. Would not mind living that life. Yeah, me either. Sign me up. Sign me up. Maury Alvarez. Gundy gets as much pushback in Stillwater as Ryan Smith gets in Utah. Yeah, not a drop. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Lopes fan Gabe, why stop at QR codes? Let's change nameplates on unis to players' Cash App handles. If it works for drunk co-eds at college game day broadcasts, it's good for players.
Cashless.
Yeah, I think we're watching. We're watching a revolution. And I know that sounds dramatic, and we're watching a revolution. Players, this is now a players program. Who are you, Arizona? Excuse me. Who are you? You, Arizona?
Program.
This is a player's game now. And it never was that. The thumb has been lifted off by the old white guys that have billions. And you're not wrong. I mean, they're already doing it at Colorado, right? Their social media handles are on their jerseys now. And, it's fine. Mike Smith, West Virginia did not fire Neil Brown prior to last season because of the buyout. And trust me, again, I say, I can't remember where we were. I think we were in St. George or something, or Las Vegas.
St. George, yeah.
And there was a lady in a West Virginia shirt, and she did not want to talk about Neil Brown. She did not want to talk about it. I mean, it was one of the greatest awkward moments of moonshine that we've ever had on this show. But I think it is. I think it is phenomenal. All right, hour number 2 of the Monty Show, as always, brought to you by our good friends at Canyons Golf in Park City. Love our guys. Can't wait. It is already August 22nd. Just 2 months left in prime golf season. We are going into prime golf weather. You got to get up to Canyons Golf in Park City. I love it. I love playing there. I love watching the ball fly. Was using the Mevo flight scope last night in the backyard, getting ready for a big weekend of golf. Bro, I hit the best 5-iron I have ever hit last night. 238 yards on a 5-iron for me is phenomenal. Like, I am hitting my long iron so well. I do wish that I had a 3 and a 4-iron, because I think I would, as well as I am hitting my long irons last night. Sunday, I hit a pretty good 5-iron as well. I hit a 220 something. So
yeah,
I love it. And when you're up at Canyons Golf at Park City Mountain Resort in Park City, just watching the ball fly is something fantastic. Get to Park City Mountain Resort. It is an awesome experience. Go play one of the best rounds of golf. You'll enjoy it. It's beautiful. Wildlife on the course, the deer routinely see things like moose, deer, fox. Like, it's a beautiful environment. And then you go have a world-class dining experience in the Park City Mountain Canyons Village. It's awesome. Stay and play. Park City Mountain Resort, Canyons Golf. Tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show. Real quick on golf. Should Live Golf, Jake, and the PGA Tour, Live Golf signed with CAA,
right,
who is the media agency for the PGA Tour. Do you think a merger is coming?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you join representation like that, it would definitely suggest that a merger is a possibility without a doubt. I think the golf world, is thirsty for a merger. I think that, Live has been, not really around, honestly. Like, you never see them. Obviously, they have the CW deal, but I also think that guys like John Rahm have quietly, through sources and through people in the golf world, complained about the fact that they miss the tour, that they only get the vibes of being on tour 4 times a year through the majors. And I don't know how many of you guys watch golf, but like, John Rahm at the Masters was a joke. I mean, you look at Dustin Johnson was a joke. Like, these guys are basically playing, retirement golf on Live, like, relax, no cut, just kind of going out there hitting the ball around golf. And then they come back to these majors, they feel the heat and the pressure, and they're not the same guy. And so, yeah, I think Live, signing with CAA for representation would suggest that, yeah, hey, maybe there are talks in the work and maybe a merger is coming. And I do think a merger is going to happen because the players want the merger to happen.
But are we over they cut people's heads off? We over
no.
the Saudi thing? Are we over the blood money thing?
No, I'm not. And I think part of the thing that's going to be challenging for the merger is, how do you compensate the guys who didn't go to Live? Because there has to be compensation in some form or fashion.
Well, I think the political conversation is far more interesting than the golf conversation. John Rahm, I think, may have been a tipping point in these talks, because if you don't follow golf, and I know everybody's going to be like, fuck off, Monty, I want to talk football. Before we get back to football, John Rahm was arguably the best golfer in the world when he signed with Live Golf. He is irrelevant. He went to Live Golf. He has been terrible in the majors since. He has not competed. He lost to Brooks Koepka and missed a pretty easy putt that would have extended a playoff. And John Rahm reportedly has major regret about going to Live Golf. And I think it's also why you've seen guys have stopped signing with Live Golf. And I'm not saying guys will not sign with Live Golf, but for the betterment of the game on the whole, you've got to get this merger done. This deal has to be done, because we need all of the best golfers in the same spot every weekend. And the problem now is guys like Dustin Johnson, irrelevant, not competing. Guys like John Rahm, invisible. The rest of the guys on that tour, you probably cannot name 5 guys that are on that tour because they've disappeared. Now, if they get a deal with TNT, I think that probably helps them. And that deal is supposedly close. TNT's got a little bit of extra money because of the NBA. And there are people who believe that would be a zero cash deal. Cashless.
Right.
That would be a zero cash deal.
Right.
Cashless.
If that's the case, I think Live Golf gets a big bump. But I don't know how you ever get away from the blood money aspect of Live Golf. I think it's incredibly difficult to do that.
Yeah, I just think it's look, I understand the position that the guys who sign with Live are in. Like, hey, I respect the fact that Dustin Johnson just straight up said, like, yeah, I get it. People have views on it, but it was what was best for my family. So I went ahead and did it. Like, I understand that side of it, but the thing that I can't get away from is you don't get to have it both ways where, hey, it was what was best for your family, but now because what's best for the game, we're merging, you get to unwind that watch.
Do you guys genuinely, Live Golf is owned by the Saudi PIF, the private investment fund. Does that matter to you? Do you care? Like, should the Saudi government be able to own North American sports teams, soccer teams? They have big investments around the world, and a lot of it is in professional sports. Now, a lot of it's real estate, a lot of it's development. Like, should we be, as a matter of practicality, should United States sports leagues like the PGA Tour be taking money from the Saudi government? And my point is, I don't think you can. And I think it's something that the PGA Tour is struggling with. And they keep saying, the commissioner, guys like Tiger Woods, who are involved in the negotiations, keep saying, it's getting there. We're moving along. And now Live Golf signs with CAA. Does that just mean Live Golf is getting a TV deal? I have a hard time believing CAA signs them up if there's not a merger close.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Hard time believing it.
Yeah. And the problem is, like, let's say a deal gets done. I'm never going to look at Brooks Koepka the same way. I'm never going to look at DJ the same way. Never going to look at John Rahm the same way. I was happy to see them struggle at the Masters. I think that's what they had coming to them. I think that when you don't play major golf and you don't play in pressure pack situations and you're just out there in your shorts having a nice time hitting the ball around, you lose your edge. You lose the ability to play a par 3 the way it needs to be played so that you can birdie that hole and go on to win the tournament. You are unable to do that. And I think that John Rahm specifically has suffered immensely from that. I think Brooks Koepka is a cold-blooded killer. The guy can flat out play anywhere in the world and beat anybody at any time. So I don't think it's affected him as much, but John there's no debating it. John has fallen off from where he was.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it is very interesting to see how all that plays out. And I think you look at the global economic impact that the PIF has, and I think you look at so many other ways that Saudi money gets into professional sports globally. I think it was only a matter of time, and I think this is only a matter of time. I do. San Diego State Glenn says, shame.
Yeah.
Shame.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding. Shame. Exactly right. That's exactly right. Let's see. UW fan Jim says no. Xavier Wolf claims SMU's finna beat Florida State. Okay.
Yeah, thanks for that. Riveting take.
Nope, Monty. I agree. I don't think you can. Ron Nolan, hello. China owns 400,000 acres of farmland in the US of A. Okay, well, what's that got to do with anything? Can I watch shows about Ohio teams in the MAC instead? Have you guys noticed lately that other channels have been coming into our comment section, be like, hey, my show's on tonight at 4:30 Eastern. We're going to be talking about Jim Harbaugh's butt crack hair. and how he waxed it with Connor Stallion's lips. That's tonight, 4:30 Eastern, live on YouTube.
Make sure you show up and hit the like button, guys.
I think it is so funny. Yeah, Coco, probably you can, Mike. You probably can.
Yeah.
But I think it's so funny that people have been coming into the comment section be like, hey, watch my show. Hey, can you watch my show? Let's watch my show together.
I know this is the Marty and Jackie show, but will you watch my show, please?
My wife wears a bikini in the background. Okay. See, there it is, Jake. You ruined my voice. Thank you. Good job. I need to get some emergency rolling.
Yeah.
Emergency, and it's got to turn into emergency and Dayquil. And you don't even know where you got this
No
death.
idea. Literally, I have no idea. No clue. Like, couldn't tell you.
You don't. You do.
Seriously, I don't. I have no idea where I got it from.
Well, you recently had some out of town visitors.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been them, but I don't know definitively if it was them. I have no idea. I don't know. Like,
where else would you have gotten it?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. It may have just been a random interaction at the store. I have no idea.
Yeah. You got to test for the cocoa. Wait. Which show has the wife in the bikini? Asking for a friend in Canada. Exactly right. All right. Can we talk about this idiot flag football player? Jake's been riding me to talk, but riding me is probably the wrong words to use. Jake has been forcefully applying pressure with his forefinger on me to get me to talk about this flag football story.
Okay. First of all, should flag football be an Olympic sport?
No. But breakdancing is.
Which they're removing. By the way, did you see that?
I didn't.
That will not continue. It's not going to be in the next Olympics.
Why is breakdancing an Olympic sport? I don't understand it. Two things I've never understood. Why is Anthony Richardson a starting quarterback in the NFL, and why is breakdancing just listen to the clip.
To go back to my quotes, it was taken from an article, and they only took parts of what I said, and they're misconstruing what I'm saying and what I'm trying to explain. I love the fact that they want to play and that they want to come out and compete. But at the end of the day, we want the same process that we've been having to play. We have to try out. And so do they. You know, I don't want to be like they're entitled because of their names to be able to just automatically be on the team. And that's what it sounds like from the flag football world. We are fans of these guys. And we love, like I said, we love the fact that they want to go out and win a gold medal and represent the country just like us. But we don't want to be forgotten about because we are the ones that help this game get to where it's at. At the end of the day, I feel like I'm better than Patrick Mahomes because of my IQ of the game. I know he's right now the best in the league. I know he's more accurate. I know he has all these intangibles. But when it comes to flag football, I feel like I know more than him.
What?
This is one of the stupidest things I've ever heard in my life. Is this akin to USA basketball playing NBA players and not college players? No, because it's the same game. Hey, dummy, Patrick Mahomes is superior to you. You know, maybe it's the Super Bowl rings he's won. If you're better than Patrick Mahomes, IQ-wise even, why aren't you in the NFL?
Know your role and shut your mouth.
This is one of the stupidest things I've ever heard.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, I get it. You want to play in the Olympics. If Patrick Mahomes says he wants to be the flag football quarterback for the United States flag football team, you can go fuck yourself.
That's correct.
Because Patrick Mahomes is going to be the starting quarterback.
100%.
And if any other quarterback in this league, hell, and I understand you have to be a mobile quarterback, so think of any other running quarterbacks in this league.
Anthony Richardson.
No, he sucks. Lamar Jackson. You want to put Lamar Jackson in there? Okay, great. He's better than you. Patrick Mahomes is better than you. Hell, Caleb Williams is better than you. Oh, I don't want to be forgotten. Yeah, well, that's the way those
fucking Cole Beasley.
Yeah, Cole Beasley's not better than you. You can be Cole Beasley, bud. This is one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. And should flag football be a sport in the Olympics? Yeah, I don't know. Should NFL players play flag football in the Olympics? This feels like beach volleyball football in the Pro Bowl and some guy tore his knee up.
Yeah, I don't know that I support flag football in the Olympics. It doesn't feel like an Olympic sport. It feels like a sport that we're just throwing into the Olympics because we want the Olympics to be cooler. And
like temperature wise, like it's too hot,
like more culturally attractive. You know,
flag football would bring more eyes to the TV.
Yeah, so that's why I feel like they're throwing it into the Olympics.
Well, and if Jimmy Fredette and his 3-on-3 failure didn't teach us anything, it should have. Just because it's football doesn't mean it will be successful. If you put, super high IQ idiot on the flag football team, I'm probably not watching. If Patrick Mahomes is throwing to Tyreek Hill on Team USA, I'm probably watching.
Reek.
If Reek is out there with Patrick Mahomes, I'm probably watching.
Hold on, bro.
I'm probably watching.
Yeah, certainly.
If name the best receiver and name the best quarterback, I'm probably watching.
A-Raj and Devontae.
I'm not watching. Aaron Rodgers is immunized. But my point is, give me the best football players, because I got news for you. You can play, if you play in the NFL, you can play flag football. If you play flag football, you probably can't play in the NFL.
100%.
Because if you could play in the NFL, guess what? You wouldn't be playing flag football, you prick. Like, this is one of the,
Y'all feel me?
This is one of the stupidest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, it takes balls to say that you think you have more football IQ than Patrick Mahomes because he plays in the NFL and you play flag football. You're dumb. You're not smart.
Mike Smith, J2H got that virus from the taquito roller food he ate. E. coli is a hell of a thing. Keith Carl, that's some powerful lettuce he's smoking. James, Oak State James, stadium guy and lover of Big 12. Cocaine is one hell of a drug.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Can I have some of what he's taking? Giggity. Every sitting quarterback in the league would make this guy look like a clown.
100%, dude.
Twitter's been going crazy.
No American football in the Olympics. The Olympics are not a USA only
That's
comp.
what I'm saying, dude. It's not, the Olympics are a very unique thing. It's not the United States Olympics, dude.
But again, I'm going back to what I said about basketball in Jimmy Fredette. When you are Jimmy Fredette and you're great at 5-on-5 international basketball, that doesn't mean that you can win at 3-on-3, because I got news for you.
Strategy, sir.
Yeah, I got news for you, Slick. They play 3-on-3 basketball is a way of life around the world. I don't know how many people realize that, but 3-on-3 basketball is a game of mercurial movement and style. It's not brute strength and, hey, look, mom, I can dunk. And we got beat badly. Now, flag football, I have a feeling we're not getting beaten badly.
No.
Just my guess. Why don't we play soccer? Well, I just can kick it hard right into the net, Mommy. How'd that work out?
Yeah, not good.
How'd that work out? It's just so dumb. It's just so dumb. UW fan Jim. Flag football is like non-alcoholic beer. What's the point? Well, at a very high level, it's actually entertaining to watch. Because if you don't care. Mike Smith, go into Buc-ee's and tell him Large Marge sent you.
Okay.
Ron Nolan, you mean golf isn't an Olympic sport? It very much is.
Well, see, golf is an interesting example, though, Ron, because golf is very much a global game. Like, golf is massive on the Pacific Rim and like in Europe and that's not an American-based game.
And you look at, again, the Asian countries, China, Japan, South Korea, huge golf countries. You look at Europe, whether it's England, Spain, France,
Ireland,
they all have players at the top of the leaderboards. It is truly a global game. Truly. I look at auto racing, global sport. Not as much in the U.S., global sport. We have this tendency to believe that if it is sports, we're good at it. And I can promise you, I watch rugby, we're not.
Yeah.
We're not. It's fine. I like having OSU fans in here to counter all the Michigan trolls. Michigan trolls pretty much have stopped showing up. Coco Von Coconut. Hey, Glass City Buck. Glass City Bucks here on a regular basis. Well, hello, Tanner Plummer. Good to see. Did you binge watch yesterday? Tanner told us that now he is a low-life degenerate without a job. I don't know if that's the case or not, but now that you're done with school, Tanner Plummer graduated with a muffin baking master's degree.
Stay hard.
He's great. I want to make a joke about using yeast, but I probably shouldn't. My point is, listen, Tanner,
just kind of weird.
Yeah, Tanner's got a bunch of free time on his hands. So Tanner was telling us that he was going to sit around and binge watch Netflix. I'm just curious if you did that. You know, that would be oh God, Mrs. Monty is texting me. Okay, recommend 30 minutes walking on the treadmill instead of gym to power out whatever sickness it is. Because I texted my wife and said, hey, I don't know how. You
always have to be negative.
I'm unsure of how I have some congestion happening. I'm unsure how I got that.
I don't really get it.
I really don't know where it could have come from. But I'd recommend.
I don't want them to see me down.
Yeah, I would recommend that you take some emergency and some Dayquil.
And it sucks.
And my tyranny style wife said, get your fat ass on the treadmill. Thanks for that. Who are you, Marcus Welby?
Yeah, no duh.
Yeah, and I'm super sore by the way. We've been going to the gym now. I had an awesome back day workout yesterday, and I'm paying for it. My traps and my middle, my triceps feel better today. I need to get in the hot tub and sweat it out.
Do you even lift?
I don't. I need to get in the hot tub and sweat it out. Mike Smith, I binge watched the first season of Gangs of London on Netflix. Good show, but man, that thing is graphic with violent scenes.
This is a conversation now, bro. I feel like a lot of TV is getting pretty gnarly. It's getting pretty gnarly out there, boys.
I can't do violent TV anymore. And Mrs. Marty and I have kind of made a pact. Oh God, there she is. There she has brought the COVID test down take a COVID test on the air. Bring it over here or throw it over here. Come on, let's do this. Let's do this. Go ahead, throw it.
There's two of them, in case you both want to have fun.
If it's COVID, Paxlovid. It's not, it's a COVID test. So we're doing this. Is this a spit test?
I didn't mean for that to happen, Jake.
If this is a spit test?
Well, you know what the saying is.
Oh, it's a nose grinder. Oh, I thought it was a spit test.
I've never done one of these, just so you know.
Yeah, we know. We're well aware. Oh, this is rough. This is we may be doing this. Jake is going to fail a COVID test live on the show right now.
It's not a surprise.
Jake is like, I don't know. Why do I have to take a COVID test? If it's COVID, what's it going to do? We'll see.
What do? You just put it up your nose and then put it in here? What do you do?
Read the instructions, dickhead.
I'm trying to do a show here, bro. I'm trying to do a show here. And
you are doing a show here.
I'm trying to do a show here, and you're asking me to take a COVID test live on the air, bro.
You guys understand? You want to know the life that I live? This cat won't open. Listen. Yeah. It's fucking picture art. It's pictures, dude.
Dude, you're hating.
And my guy won't open. How do you know this? You just stick it up your butt, or okay?
You're absolutely hating.
Number one, it says remove the foil from the top of the extraction buffer tube.
Okay. Remove the foil. Yep,
the extraction buffer.
I got it. Okay.
It's called, they call this an extraction buffer tube.
Okay.
Number two, punch through the perforated circle in the kit box to form a tube holder. Is there something in the bottom of this that's okay? It doesn't matter. Oh, there's a hole on top. Okay. It's funny. Mrs. Monty knows where all the holes are at. Right here, there's a hole right there.
Okay. All right.
Number three, open the swab packaging at the stick end, not the swab end.
The stick end. Okay.
Gently insert the entire absorbent tip of the swab head into the nostril. That's what I said.
So the entire swab.
Yeah. So pull your pants down.
No.
And
No.
The entire swab has to go 3/4 of an inch into the nasal canal. With children, the maximum depth of insertion into the nostril may be less.
Okay, this could go really poorly for me.
If you throw up, just don't throw up on the computer
or on the MacBook. Yeah.
Firmly rub the swab in a circular motion inside the wall of the nostril 5 times.
I want better fucking execution.
This takes approximately 15 seconds to collect your specimen.
5 times. I have to go around 5
times?
times?
Around your nose 5 times for 15. Am I doing this as well? I don't think I need to. Go ahead.
Okay, we're ready.
So
are we ready?
stick it up your nose and do here, let me get the timer. 1,
2, 3, 4. Wow, this is incredibly uncomfortable. 5.
I think that's probably good. It says remove the swab from the nostril and immediately place it into the extraction buffer tube.
Okay.
That's what it says.
That's what it said.
Repeat this. Oh, repeat this in the other. Okay. Immediately.
You don't read the instructions. What are you doing?
Well, it's on the next step.
It's
okay. Immediately place the swab into the tube and swirl for 30 seconds.
Okay, we're swirling.
Rotate the swab 5 times while squeezing the tube at the bottom. So is there liquid in the bottom of the tube?
Yes, there is.
Okay. Squeeze the bottom of the tube.
Yeah.
Rotate the swab 5 times. Okay. Then remove the swab while squeezing the tube. No, the bottom of the tube where you're squeezing it, so that you're squeezing the swab through the tube.
Yes. Okay.
Oh, and then pull it out like your Ollie Garden. Attach the dropper tip firmly in.
So the swab is supposed to come off?
Yes. Remove the swab. No. Just pull the swab out gently.
Okay.
God.
Okay.
Remove the swab while squeezing the tube. Dispose of the swab in the trash.
Okay.
So you're done with the swab.
Okay.
Attach the dropper tip firmly. So close the top firmly.
Yeah.
Mix thoroughly by swirling and flicking the bottom of the tube. This is unbelievable, dude.
Fucking biohazard show right now.
So flick it thoroughly.
Yeah.
This is so sexual. Gently squeeze the tube and dispense 4 drops of solution into the sample well.
Yes.
So turn the tube over.
Yeah.
The sample
well at the bottom. Yeah.
Gently squeeze the tube and dispense 4 drops of solution in the sample well. A false, negative, or invalid result may occur if less than 4 drops of fluid are added to the seminal well. It's actually the sample.
Okay, so we have 4.
Okay, good. Now sit it down. It's going to take 15 minutes.
Okay, so should I just throw the dropper out then?
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Do we want to keep the box? Well, he didn't tell me. I wasn't trying to cheat the test.
Okay.
I'm not surprised if I do.
So now, should I do this test?
Let's see what mine is. I mean, what do you feel right now? What is your...
I feel way better now. I had a scratchy throat when I'm up. Now, not that anybody cares. I usually take a smoking hot shower every morning. Today, I slept in 10 extra minutes, so I did not take a shower today. So I'm a little congested, but I had like a cough, like a little coffee thing.
Yeah.
That's gone now. And it's because I've drank an entire...
Any sense of a headache?
None.
Okay. Because
I'm sore as F
Yeah.
from lifting. Are you sore still, Mrs. Monty? Or you're? Yeah, my triceps are. I'm feeling my triceps in my upper back.
What's positive and negative in terms of the test? What does it say for like results? Because I have one red line by the T right now on the test.
Okay. Let's see. Results. Negative is 1 control line at C, nothing at T. positive, both the control line C and the test line T appear, that means SARS-CoV-2 antigen was detected.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say that that's detected.
How do you know?
Well, I mean, that's, I mean, it might just be,
God damn it.
Yeah,
it's been like 30 seconds and he's got 2 lines.
Yeah. That's great, dude. That's great.
The coronavirus.
Well, that was good entertainment, bro. Really good entertainment, dude.
All right.
Okay, let's see. I mean, that was okay. At least the test is definitive. Now, I have to say, while you're doing your test, I'll tell this story. The first time I ever had COVID was several years ago now.
God damn it. I'm so annoyed with you.
Well, what do you want me to do? What do you like? How can you be annoyed with me? Like I told you I wasn't feeling well.
How can I be annoyed with you?
Like,
let me count the ways.
Yeah, well, I know. I
know. I'm the scourge of the world.
I get it. But, like.
So Jake is, I mean, you're pretty clearly positive, right?
Yeah. I think, yeah,
let's see.
It's very definitive for sure.
Yeah. Jake's got COVID.
Yeah. So the first time I got COVID, I had the original strain. It was terrible. Have had multiple boosters, multiple,
when's the last time you got a booster?
Earlier this year I think it was in March, I believe. Might have been April. Sometime around then. But yeah, this one, getting it this time I'm a little surprised because, I mean, my girlfriend's parents were in town, but.
Are they vaccinated?
Yes, they are. And, again, obviously people can be asymptomatic where they don't show any signs. They didn't get sick. They're not like congested, no symptoms or anything. You can still get it. But yeah, I don't know. I really have no idea because I haven't been to, I've just gone to the store. Like I haven't been to like a concert or like I haven't been to like mass population events or something like that, a place where your risk would obviously be higher.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, man. I don't know. I was doing some reading last night and this particular variant they're saying is a much quick hitter. Like it moves much faster. So like, it's going around, but because the original strain of COVID had you down for like a week. Like you were jacked for like 5-6 days on end. Mm-hmm. This one, people are getting over it as early as day 3. Like they're back to normal as early as day 3. This would be my 3rd day of being like really symptomatic. And I do feel like I'm over the worst of it, but definitely not, back to normal. So yeah, it's not great, obviously.
So we are filling. And there is a line at the T. There is no line at the C.
Right. So two lines is positive.
One line is
negative.
2 lines, a very strong line through the C and the T, or a very faint line through the T. With anything that has a line at the C, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You're fucked.
Yeah.
But that does not. I think I'm negative.
Yeah.
I think I'm negative. There's no line at the T. Let's go. Not dead yet.
Yeah.
Not dead. Thank you. My wife says, you're not positive yet. Yeah, there is a very definitive line. I don't know. What do you think of that? That looks like a line at the C to me.
I don't see a line on either of them.
Well, at the top, there's a blue line coming up at the C very clearly.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
Do you see how mine, like the T line though, like you did 4 drops?
Yeah.
Because like the T line is very definitive. I'm a little surprised you don't have the T line. Because the T line is like the line, my understanding is the line that confirms like it's got a good reading. What are the comments saying, by the way? What are people saying?
I don't know. I'm not paying attention. Monty, if you're negative, no excessive physical specimen, talk out of you. I mean, I think there's no question. There's a line at the sea. There's no doubt about it. Look, there is a line at the sea. So get you a mask, Monty. Yeah, Eric in Raleigh, is someone who immunocompromised and vaccinated 6 times. Yes, Glass. It works.
It does. And I haven't had, like, I had it that one time, but I haven't had it in a long time.
Yeah. R2H teased James with love and then ignored him. James, J2H, I think he meant. James says, this is karma, kid. Exactly right. The only way Jake gets over the Coco is break up with it over text message.
That's a good poll, Tanner. Well done, bro. That's a good poll, bro. That's a good poll.
Yeah! That is a definitive line on the sea.
So does that mean you're negative?
Negative.
Oh, okay.
Negative. God damn it.
Great, dude. Great.
I've never had it. Wow, isn't that crazy how
they work. There's no doubt they work. They absolutely work.
Yeah, because I feel much better now that I've gotten up and going.
Oh, you would know. Like
because when did you you started
Tuesday
feeling shitty
night,
Saturday, right?
No,
you started feeling something Saturday.
No, I think I texted you Tuesday. I didn't start feeling.
No,
something.
you texted me Sunday, I think.
Was it Sunday?
Yes.
Let's see.
Yes, Sunday night.
I want to remember specifically. I'm not trying to.
You told me you were. I think it was Sunday night. You told me that you weren't feeling well, and you started taking.
Text a lot.
You started taking Dayquil, and
let's see.
Maybe that was Monday.
I think it might have been Monday. Okay, I've clearly passed it now. Sorry.
Yeah, it's Thursday, so for certain,
One sec.
But how long is a booster supposed to last? 6 months, they say. Although my wife is the expert on that.
Monday at 6:35, I texted you.
Yeah, Monday night.
So I texted you Monday night because I had a headache. I don't typically get headaches. The only time I ever get headaches is if I don't have caffeine.
Right.
So I was sitting downstairs watching baseball, and I had a headache, and I was like, dude, what is this about, bro? Like, and I didn't have the congestion. I didn't have anything else. I just had this headache that would not leave me. And I had taken Advil, and I was like, dude, like, what is this about? And I said, dude, like, I don't know. I feel like maybe I have something. Like maybe I picked something up or something. Like you know how like you just feel different. You know when, hey, like I have this headache. I don't usually have headaches, and I just feel a little off. And then Tuesday, I got my ass kicked. I woke up, like, was not well. Yesterday was the worst of it. Or no, yesterday was better. Tuesday was the worst day. And then today has been about the same as yesterday so far. So, I think it's just I don't know. They say, I was reading about it last night. Like I said, they say it's a quick hitting, 3-day process, and then you're done with it. So
yeah. I think it is without question. It is without question that this COVID thing is wild. Yeah, this COVID thing is wild. So I am, I'm double checking the result. That C line means you're negative. So still have not, I don't think I've ever had it.
There was a concern last year, but you never tested positive. So,
and my wife and I do test pretty regularly if we're not feeling well.
Yeah.
That is without a doubt a negative test. Thank you.
Yeah.
UW fan Jim, seriously, Monty, go get a mask right now. Probably should. So again, did you only do this so that we didn't have to do the show tomorrow?
No.
Because I think we're probably not doing a show tomorrow now.
Well, it's not. Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
You know what's hard about it, dude? And I'm being completely transparent, 100% honest. The hard part is like, that's the pain in the ass with COVID. It is something where it used to be like with influenza, head colds, like that type of thing. You would need to like hang out with somebody. You would need to like spend extended amounts of time with them to pick up what they had. With COVID, I genuinely feel like, especially with this new strain, if you read about it, I genuinely feel like you can get it by just walking by someone, or it like, or like it just transmits much easier now.
I am a big believer you have to get your boosters.
Yeah.
And and people always say, well, Monty, it's killing you. I'm telling you that I've had every vaccine and every booster possible. And I
was almost due for my next one. I think my next one was due in like September. So it's like you said, like it's like every 6 months. So I think my next one was September-ish, that next month.
See, but I get them as often as I can.
Yeah.
It doesn't even, I get them as often as I can. That's me. Yeah. Standing over the rollers at Maverick. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
James learned how to give Jake COVID by reading books on his Kindle. I think he did. James, I had nothing to do with this. We know you had nothing to do with it. You got it from Preston Stone's cock and gave probably too much.
Bruh.
Coco Von Coconut. I taught first grade in Los Angeles. In January of 2022, 18 of 28 students in my classroom tested positive in one day, all sent home, including me, and I spent about 3 days sick with the co. Sucks. The cock. Jake, you need to build new stadium seats and luxury boxes at J2H Stadium to beat this. Put an upper deck in the bedroom, Jakey.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Mike Smith, I'm liking this garbage can on the desk. Great look, total garbo. Right?
Because
Brandon Butler. I have avoided the cocoa for 4 years now. Now they are forcing us back in the office, and my anxiety is now jacked up.
Well, here's what I'll say about it. I mean, again, I'm not proud of it, obviously. It's not a badge of honor, certainly.
You've had it 3 times now.
Yeah. And it's, I don't know if the problem is, again, it reacts differently to everybody. For me, it's a cold for me. That's how it feels. It feels like hey, your head's pounding, you have congestion, and you got to grind. The difference this time versus last time was the temperature swings body wise. Like I got really hot, then really cold, then really hot again. And that subsided yesterday. Tuesday was the day where like I really struggled. And then yesterday I was fine. Temperature wise, I was fine yesterday. Haven't had any temperature issues today. Slept great last night. Was breathing through my nose all night. So it's just, yeah, like I don't know what else to say about it other than
it sucks.
It sucks.
And
I don't want to have it. It's I do still think about it when I'm out and about and making plans and doing things. Like I'm always conscious of like, hey, like are we, like if you're traveling or if you're going to a movie or something, I'm always considering it.
And I agree with Glenn. No quote head is pounding references, please. Like this is a family show. I'm telling you now that if you, and all politics aside, and if you're not getting your vaccines and your boosters, I think you're asking for it, because I think it's really hard to avoid it now. And I have to believe if I did not have the vaccines and the boosters, I would have gotten it. And I probably had it and just didn't know it. I think we all.
But again, that's the point of the vaccine, right?
Yeah.
That is the essence of what a vaccine does, right? You teach your body to handle the virus, and so you don't get sick. You don't feel the way I feel.
It makes it tougher to contract it and tougher to pass it.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I know that this will piss people off. I'm a big believer in masks. I inject myself with cleaning solutions and bleach every day.
In your butthole.
I sleep with a bright UV light up my ass. Like I do everything that I can do.
Hugh Janus.
It's the light.
In all seriousness, I'm a passionate believer in masks.
They have the sniffles.
If you're sick, I don't believe you should be going out. I don't.
Everybody gets a test.
If you work at home, that's one thing. But I don't think, like for you, I'd not be working. I'd take a day off, sleep. I'm a believer. If you are sick, you got to work it out. I think that obviously you shouldn't be going to the gym if you have COVID. I'd be walking, running. I'd be doing body weight exercises. I'd be playing golf.
Yeah.
I'd absolutely be playing golf. Like at physical activity, I think is great. And this is again where we start going with the. This is where we start going with the DNA, the genes. I'm very lucky to have strong genes, man. My immune system is very strong.
Yeah.
And I'm super fortunate for that.
Well, and I think that's the thing about work from home. Like Tuesday, I took 3 hours off from work. I was like beat into submission on Tuesday. Like I tried to work through it. Like, because doing what we do and everything, like you're in a performance-based position, you're costing yourself bread, obviously, by not working. And so I tried to work through it and I couldn't. I mean, I did through before lunch, and then I was like, dude, like this is just roasting me. I need to sleep. And so I did. And yesterday was much better, and today is probably going to be more of the same. Like that, because that's an interesting thing. Like Tuesday, I did not feel normal. I felt sick. And yesterday and today, generally speaking, like energy wise and like how I feel fine. I feel mostly normal. I just obviously have the symptoms.
I'd be taking 2 hot showers a day. Like I'm really proactive about it. If I don't feel good, look, I'm getting after
for sure.
it.
Like I took a hot shower every day this week in the morning. I've been taking them at night. I've been using. I recently this time what's made a big difference. Vicks vapor makes a rub you can put on your chest when you sleep. That's made a huge difference. Like that helped me sleep immensely. So I would highly recommend that to anyone who has the sniffles.
Did you guys sleep in separate rooms?
We did not.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Let's see. Annie says it also helps that your health is good, Monty. It does. I think if you're healthier, and again, I'm pretty active. I'm healthy for the most part, 99.9%. I need to lose some weight, but yeah, I would agree with that. Apologies for yelling, but why aren't you wearing a mask yet? We should probably end the show until Jake feels better. Yep, Jake, listen to your body, no doubt. Monty out here talking about precautions, yet no mask.
Bro,
well, if I've got it, I've got it already.
Yeah.
Good morning, Aaron Wilson, who gifted a Monty Show membership.
Appreciate you, A-Dub.
Thank you very much for that. Our favorite mailman. Yeah, all right, fine. You guys want us to go? Let's take some precautions. The Monty Show, as always, presented by our good friends at The Advocates, theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business, where you don't pay a penny out of pocket to work with The Advocates. In fact, you don't pay The Advocates unless and until they win your case. No consultation fees, no retainers. Just get to theadvocates.com. Chat with an injury attorney live online for free. 24/7, 365 at theadvocates.com. Until Monday. Say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.